we are clearly articulating an alternative path plan to a new Zimbabwe. A lot of people are confused about where we are going, what we are going to do, our role as Democrats in terms of providing a solution to the challenges of our country. Here is your answer. We have a document that is well written. We have thought leadership in our midst. We are thought leaders. But beyond being thought leaders, we are actors. So when we think, we also act. We have two courages, the courage to think and the courage to act. So when you have seen us not acting, it's because acting's moment has not come. But when it comes, we will act. I say this because I know, Takambira signal. Takambira signal. No, there will be no signal. You are the signal. And when we say you are the signal, we know what we mean. We don't communicate and advise our opposition. We don't take instructions from ZANU-PF on what to do and what not to do. We do what we have to do when we feel we have to do what we have to do. And we are going to act. So today, Vaskala is not here. Vamwanoti kusungwa mafuta. Musaachika kusungwa kubhabhatizwa. Kusungwa jere ndo nzvimbo inogara vatadzwa nevatadzi. Mazvinzwa zvandataura. Munhu kana akutadza waba zvembiri unosungwa. Munhu akutadza wamurova unosungwa. Munyaya dzematongerwo enyika, if you are ahead of your opponent, unosungwa. So as a lawyer I was asking, I said, but what did Scala commit as an offense? Zvakati kwanzira kupisa munasipo. Hakuna munhu anoita mhosva yekubvisa munasipo. Imhosva iyo. Kuti munhu hapo woti kwanzi ndamubvisa. Ukungotaura wako because hapo. The world over, illegitimate governments are always fought. And what makes people fight illegitimate government is because they do not derive their authority from the constitution and from the people. And doing so is not a crime, it is actually a duty of every citizen. The world over. This is in Sudan, this is in Syria, wherever you go, we have a duty as citizens to perform that historic task, that revolutionary mandate, to make sure that we have a legitimate government, per the constitution, per the people. In this country, we don't have a Westminster model of democracy, which is power residing in parliament. Our power resides in the constitution and in the people. That is where the power is. So if you don't have those as the sources of power, usati nyembera. Takasumbirwa vaskala avapo pana. Ostalos, I'm told, he was called by the police. Chibaya is a treason charge. Joanna Mamombe, treason charge. Mukapiko, MP, treason charge. Chikwinya, MP, treason charge. Machingauta, MP, treason charge. Wende, iwende erume, but ameno nomko mosha yakutichi. Treason charge. Honorable Stole, Tubiza, treason charge. Ostalos, our youth secretary general, inciting violence. Comrade Mtingwende, treason charge. Ndogo digo. Munangagwa aunyari we. Kuti urukuda kuramba uchida ndozara katarisa izvo. Aunyari here. 14 people are on treason charges. Some are not even missing. Within a short space of time. Are you not ashamed? You parrot to the whole world that is a new dispensation. When there's nothing new around you except your tomfoolery. Mugabe taelezana naye angane more than 38, 39, 37 ari mu office. But ukatarisa namba ya vanhu vakachanjwa ne na Mugabe pa 40 years dzake dzekutungamira. Neatwana Mnangagwa. Mnangagwa anotanga ari pabishi. Departure lounge kuti ndakakundwa kuda kukwikwidzana na Mugabe. Kukunda vanhu nenyaya ya treason. That must stop. And we will stop it. So hamsavhunduka kuti zvichastopwa sei. Isumbiri yedu haisi yokunzi tadyiwa neshumba. Mbiri haiwani kudyiwa neshumba. Mbiri iri kukuuraya shumba. Mazvashona ndataura. Kunzano ndarumwa dama neshumba wofunga kuti that's the source of glory. No. The source of glory is in doing what has to be done to defeat the problem. The lions in our midst are the problems we are facing. And that is the challenge we have. So that is what we are confronting. Now, I'm saying this as a preliminary thing because the doctor wants to say kuti MDC is a democratic party. That's why I and all the civics whom I have to acknowledge who are in our midst, when we began this project, including the ZCTU, we said our cause is going to be democratic change. Not violence, not non-democratic. So that's why our name is Movement for Democratic. We know the pain of taking a path of democracy and non-violence. You are at the receiving end, but we will not depart from that path. And we are going to have peaceful and radical engagement with the problems of our country, including confronting what has to be confronted in terms of the Constitution. Because the Constitution allows for a demonstration. Leaders are changed through political pressure and also through an election. Particularly if the election fails to do its mandate, political pressure becomes a necessity, as in our circumstances. Rapid, I'm saying this so that we understand where we are. What is the method of the struggle? What is the form of the struggle? What is the nature of our tools and tactics as we engage? That's where we are. So it is with great pleasure, ladies and gentlemen, that we present to you a roadmap, a signpost for the democratization of Zimbabwe, the construction of a sustainable Zimbabwe following our successful Congress held in May. Our Congress had a theme defining a new course for Zimbabwe. It has become so clear that we are indeed the defenders of that new course. Zimbabwe is burning. Zimbabwe is in the throes of a serious political and socio-economic crisis. The resolution of this crisis, more than ever before, has become a matter of extreme urgency and emergency. It is clear that soft landing the crisis has to be done by creating a Zimbabwe that averts this inevitable and impending implosion. I do not doubt in my mind, comrades and friends, that Zimbabwe is heading for a disaster, is facing an abyss. A dark cloud hangs over this nation. But to avoid this implosion, we must take bold steps that will avoid the catastrophe that we're going to engage. Please, stop that. To avoid this implosion, ladies and gentlemen, we need to have a new paradigm and a new narrative, a new discourse, a new way of engaging in our political activism. And this involves what we are going to put in place as a 5-step program to find our country out of this crisis. But let me just say, what country do we want to build? What future are we creating? What is the pitch and the narrative or the platform that we are coming upon? We seek to reload the Zimbabwean struggle. And to reload our struggle, we are going to use new tools, new strategies for the democratization of our country in our effort to create a national vision which is shared, one which is based on national consensus, agreement, and also in our ability to make sure that our politics is based on tolerance and inclusivity. For us, we are saying it's not enough to replace Mr. Mnangagwa with another leader. It's not enough to say that Mugabe is gone and therefore we've resolved our problems. It's not enough to replace personalities and faces and names. What is enough is for us to begin a reload of our values, a reload of who we are as a people, a reload of where we are coming from, a reload of the moral ethics. So we have a moral compass that we're going to define, and that is already enshrined in that document. What do we believe in? What is our culture? You can't change a country when you don't change the culture and you don't change the structure of that country. That is why in our context, we are redefining our value system. What do we value? We value life. So as we plan for our peaceful democratization programs, we will make sure that what is at the core is saving lives. What is at the core is making sure that we don't lose lives. Our opposite number in ZANU-PF don't believe in life. Life is meaningless to them. That's why killing and bloodletting is a hobby. But for us, saving and protecting lives is also a national obligation. And you will see that in our discourse, what we are going to do is to make sure that those two are observed and respected. Now, what is our problem in our politics? Comrade Kagoro, you mentioned a couple of issues. Those are some of the problems. But the biggest problem in our politics is that it's personalized. We don't have strong institutions. We have big men, we don't have big ideas. Africa's disaster is a disaster of absence of ideas, and yet we have big men who take over. When they die, we all have to die with them. That is the problem of Africa. That is what we must challenge. That is what we must confront. How do we depersonalize? You're right. The reason why Mr. Mnangagwa will not deliver is because within the bureaucracy,